Hey, Wes here with Airstream Wanderings. Today we are digging for clay in sunny Arizona. Why don't you come along with me? All along this road cut, along a road, are clay deposits. And I think what these are going to be good for will be for making slips. I don't know that this is really building clay. It looks kind of rocky, but actually I found yellow clay, green clay, maroon clay. So there's a variety of things to pick from. And you can see here where I dug. Now whether this is going to be any good or not, I don't know. Here's some more of the yellow stuff. Then up there is some kind of maroonish red clay. So I do know that it kind of gets my shoes a little goopy. It's kind of sticky out here, but it's having a good time. So I'm driving down the road out by Clay Springs, and I run into someone from the Kiln Conference. So who am we talking to here?
I'm Bill Warner, and actually I ran into you, and thank you for stopping, because I looked at the same hillside and you confirmed a good spot to check, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, so yeah, what are you doing here?
I was driving up to another spot to look for some clay samples, and this is actually very close to some ancient Mogollon sites, and there's a lot of different pottery types right in here, so this may be actually the same formation that some of those come from.
So cool to meet somebody out in the middle of Arizona. We were 250 miles from where I saw you last.
Small world.
It is a small world. So I want to show people what we're digging here. This is a road cut, and then right down here is this really red clay, and it seems to stick together good. So we'll cross our fingers and collect some. Well, on the top of this formation is some kind of granular clay, but then if you dig down, all of a sudden it gets chunks of clay. This is really pure stuff too. You can see that there's just no grit in it at all. And whether this is exactly the same clay or not, I'm not sure. Sometimes just an inch or two makes a difference, but preliminary testing is good, and so we'll give it a try. So check out all the different colors. This is all clay here. And so I'm seeing kind of like a rainbow of colors along this bank. I don't know if they're any good for building, but a lot of these colors would be fine for painting. And I'm gonna look down by my feet. Look down here. Here's some really kind of bright yellows, pinks, maroons. I don't have all the words for what all this stuff is. But I would call it exciting. Check out the colors on this clay. And I'm going to move up like 2 feet. Look at the change of colors. Go from deep purple to a beautiful white. Good news, the rain has stopped. Things aren't as slippery and gooey as they were. And this is the third clay stop for the day. I've gotten a lot more done than I ever expected. And this is Pinedale clay down here. You can see it. Pinedale is a pretty famous location for Native American pottery. So hopefully this is the right location, the right clay, and we can build some good things. Well, this is the nature of digging clay. Somebody told me that there's some clay near here. But you know what? Arizona is a big state, and the Mogollon Rim is a big place. All of this is just covered in clay. Some of it is probably superior stuff, and some of it probably is junk. And finding the exact right stuff, that's a challenge. One of the nice things about hunting for clay is sometimes you come upon pottery shards. So here are a number of corrugated shards, and all found similar place, different colors, and Some of it has kind of different pinch marks. This one appears to be the rim of a pot. Now, etiquette is that you look at this stuff, you admire it, study it a little bit, and then throw it to the wind. Not only is it ethically right, but I'm pretty sure I'm on national forest property, and it would be a federal offense to keep this stuff. Here is a group of painted shards, pretty much a black and I think organic paint on top of a white or gray slipped clay. Again, nice to look at, best to throw into the bushes. These little shards, nothing real special, but it's really fun because you can see the marks that were made by somebody's hands when they formed this pottery. So just think about it. 700-800 years ago, something like that, somebody made this stuff, and these were their fingerprints. All right, I just got a couple of buckets of clay that's supposed to be really good for working. You can see over my shoulder where I dug it out. Here it is. It's supposed to be gray with little brown spots. Superior working quality. So I'm excited to get back home and give it a try. I'm off to find another clay source. I know where it is, so it shouldn't be a problem. And I really like driving on these Forest Service roads. Partly it's just nice to see the scenery. There's not very many people out here, and of course in the end result we get what we're looking for, at least hopefully we get some more clay to work with. All right, this is the last place I plan to get clay today. It's a known location for gray clay for building. I have been here before. I got the wrong stuff. What I got was real gritty. I couldn't make anything out of it. And as you can see, there are a lot of colors here. So just a foot or two difference can make a major difference when you're looking for clay. Now, fortunately, the highway department or the Forest Service has done the work for us because they cut through, and frequently that's a good place to look for clay because they've exposed things. And looks to me like right there it's gray and people have been digging. Wish me luck. Well, this is what I ended up with. Some of it was very gray and others have kind of this reddish stuff runs through it, but it feels pretty good, so we'll see. This is kind of a 2-for-1 site because right above here, look at that red stuff. Now that will be used for paint or slip, but it is just a gorgeous color. Oh man, that hurt. Okay, I am on my last leg here today. Last place I'm going to go looking for clay. And actually, technically I'm not looking for clay today. I'm looking for ochre, which is the red stuff that natives used to slip and paint their pottery red. And where I'm going, there is a cliff dwelling. It would appear that this was maybe a very primary place for them to find their red ochre, which is so prominent in polychrome pottery. So it's a pretty remote part of the country, it seems to me. And I am impressed that anybody found this stuff to begin with. Of course, I have not found it yet, so we'll just have to head down the trail for a ways and see what we find. This is beautiful country, a little bit on the rugged side, but absolutely beautiful. And look up here, the saguaro cactus. Here are part of the ruins, and then it's built up against the wall. And look at the colors of yellow and red. Really beautiful. I may be wrong, but this looks like where this ochre has been excavated, dug out. I'll be sure not to dig any near the ruins. It is very cool to be sitting here amongst these ruins and to see where native people mined this ochre. And it really is in a pretty desolate spot. And, you know, if you're down at the creek and you look up, you're not even going to see these. And they must have just been so familiar with the land that they were able to find these kinds of things. And this is not a place where you would ever farm. There is no flat ground. It's all rock. But there is water down the creek. Apparently there is a spring there. So they probably just came up here, I would imagine, just for the ochre. I'm not sure what other reason they would have to build these dwellings. And I'm not seeing any pottery shards either. That doesn't mean that there weren't some before and that people have just picked them up. The ruins seem to be in pretty good condition, but I do see a couple places where people have scribbled in their names, and so unnecessary and inappropriate. So again, if you ever come to these kinds of places, it's important to respect them and not to destroy them in any kind of a way. And if you are interested in more information about ochre, I would suggest you check out Andy Ward's YouTube channel. He has a couple, and plus he has all kinds of information about ancient pottery replication. It is so useful. Andy Ward has a website, I think it's Ancient Pottery How, where he has online classes on how to find clay, process clay, build clay, fire your pots. Really, really very useful if you are interested in ancient replica pottery. So I am very, very pleased and honored to be able to be here today. Well, you can see that my hands are kind of red from digging out that ochre. I got a little bit, didn't need a lot. And here's what it looks like once it's dug out. Now it still needs to be processed and made real fine so it is in a paintable form. This wraps up looking for clay and some minerals. It's been a good little adventure, and this is a great way to end all of this at these ruins looking for the ochre. So if you've liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe or not. But until next time, this is Wes wishing you health, happiness, peace, and love. Take care. Bye-bye.